The only thing about Tommy Pickles and the Great White Thing that doesn't work is that Tommy is wearing orange. His t-shirt is orange and it just feels so wrong. But everything else feels exactly like what the series became, which sounds like it's an obvious statement because pilots can be very much like the TV show. But there are a lot of times where animated pilots are a lot more rough around the edges and not as good quality as either the quality of the animation or the quality of the narratives in the series once it goes to broadcast. But actually, Tommy Pickles and the Great White Thing is a pretty delightful pilot for Rugrats. I grew up worshipping Rugrats. It was my favourite TV show for many, many, many years. So when I watch it now, I still have very fond memories, and it triggers all kinds of happy thoughts from my childhood or the happy times in my childhood. But I'd never seen this pilot. I believe it was unaired until the early noughties, if I'm not mistaken. But if anybody knows when it did first air or was first available for public consumption, please feel free to confirm that information. The show itself aired in 1991, the year before I was born, so I was very much the target audience for this as the show progressed. In this first episode, Tommy hears the toilet burping, as he calls it, when his Grandpa Lou is in there, and he tells the twins, Phil and Lil, about this big great white thing in the bathroom. They have a brief discussion about what it could be, and there was this weird moment where we get to see, I think, Lil, from inside Phil's mouth, and I don't know if they've done that in the actual show itself. I'm trying to remember. They must have done it at some point. We've certainly seen inside of the baby's mouths when they're eating, but it was a very odd angle to go with. But it seemed to work all right. And Tommy decides that that night he is going to explore. So his parents put him to bed, and his parents do look very much like what they do in the actual series. So not much has changed there. The same with Spike. Spike also looks very recognisable. And Tommy goes to the bathroom and explores. And causes a bit of a catastrophe. I won't say exactly what happens, I don't want to spoil it all completely, but I think this is a really strong pilot. The character personalities are exactly what's delivered in the series. Again, not always the case. There are a lot of pilots, particularly animated pilots, where they make changes after the show has been commissioned, which may be a risk or it may work. But here, apart from changing his shirt to a much more soft, muted blue colour, much more of a pastel blue, which works. The garish orange doesn't work, but I'm wondering if one of the main reasons they changed his shirt to blue was so it didn't contrast with Chucky's hair. Because if you had Chucky's bright ginger hair and Tommy's bright orange shirt, it would kind of clash on the screen. Your eyes would be looking at them and kind of merging them as one object, so it wouldn't really work very well. So I don't know if that was the reason why they changed the t-shirt, but I like the blue. The blue works much better, I personally think, but it's what we're used to. But as a pilot, I thought it was great. We really got the sense that Tommy is a very curious character. Phil and Lil, obviously we established that they're twins and that they can be quite argumentative with one another, which is something that happens quite a lot. We find out that Grandpa is not the best at paying attention, and we get a brief look at Tommy's parents, so we kind of know the basic family household setup. I think it's a really, really strong pilot. The few changes that were made make perfect sense, and sure, the narrative's not as developed as some of the episodes, but I can certainly see why if somebody presented this, they would have commissioned it. It's directed by Peter Chung, written by Ben Hurden and Paul Germain, and I really enjoyed it. It brought back happy memories even though I had never seen it before, and that is the power of Rugrats nostalgia. If you were a fan of Rugrats, definitely check out the pilot. It really is a sweet origin.